What happens when a quiet black woman is denied service at a luxury hotel just for looking out of place? You won't believe how her husband flips the script minutes later. It was one of those New York days that cooked the pavement before noon, the kind where the air sticks to your skin and even the traffic lights seem tired. But inside Aisha, there was warmth, real warmth, the kind you only carry when your soul's rested and your spirit's still intact. She wasn't in a rush, didn't have to be. She'd taken the day off from her nursing job in Harlem, where she usually spent 12-hour shifts comforting patients the system forgot. Today was different. Her husband had planned something, told her to meet him at a high-end boutique hotel uptown. "Just relax, baby," he'd said that morning. "You deserve a little peace." So there she was, crossing a busy intersection near 59th, guiding a frail, older woman who clutched her forearm like life itself. This woman had to be pushing 90, scarf tied under her chin, purse hanging crooked off one shoulder, trembling like a leaf in a wind tunnel. And nobody had stopped to help her. Except Aisha. They made it to the curb. The old woman looked up at her, eyes watery but sharp, and said, "Thank you, sweetheart. You're the first kind face I've seen today." Aisha just smiled and nodded. No big speeches, just humanity in motion. She wasn't dressed to impress. Simple black sundress, flat sandals, curls tied up in a quick bun, and a faded cloth tote that read, "Healing is power." She didn't need diamonds or a designer label to walk with pride. She was pride, quiet, steady, real. But as she pushed open the revolving glass door of the Madison Lux Hotel, she felt something shift. That kind of shift you don't see but feel, like invisible eyes peeling the layers off you. Behind the marble counter stood a young receptionist, dressed like she was applying for CEO, but watching Aisha like she'd come in to ask for loose change. She barely lifted her eyes before returning them to the screen. Aisha walked up, polite as ever. "Good afternoon. My husband made a reservation. Last name, Evans." The receptionist tapped her keyboard like it owed her rent. Her face changed. Not confused, not curious, just blank, like a light went out. "I'm sorry," she said slowly, like the words were heavy in her mouth, "but I don't see anything under that name. Are you sure you're at the right hotel?" Aisha didn't flinch. She pulled out her phone and showed the email confirmation, complete with the reservation code, date, and her husband's name. The receptionist gave it a glance, a quick one, like it didn't count. "Well, even if we did have a reservation under that name," she looked Aisha over like she was judging produce in a grocery store. "We have a dress code, a standard of appearance. I'm afraid we can't check you in dressed like, this." Aisha blinked. She looked down at herself, clean, simple, respectable, then looked around the lobby. Man in cargo shorts and a baseball cap. Woman in gym leggings and a hoodie. A teenager with half a sandwich sticking out his mouth. Oh, but she was the one dragging down the hotel's image? Before she could say a word, a man emerged from a side hallway. The manager, mid-40s, white, polished like showroom furniture, with a voice that sounded like it practiced saying liability in the mirror. He didn't greet her, didn't ask questions, just stepped up with rehearsed authority. "Ma'am," he said, all business, "I'm going to ask you to vacate the lobby. We are currently checking in reserved guests." "I am a reserved guest," she said quietly, holding up her phone again. "We paid. I have the confirmation, right?" "I said," he interrupted, louder now, "please vacate the lobby, or I will have to call security." Aisha stared at him, stunned, not yelling, not crying, just present. In all her dignity. She didn't even get a chance to finish the sentence, didn't get to say her husband's name. No one asked if she needed help. No one double-checked the system. From across the room, a man with a suitcase leaned toward his wife and muttered, "Are you seeing this?" She was seeing it. So was everybody else. Aisha didn't raise her voice. She didn't throw a fit or make a scene, because the world already sees black women as too much before they say a word. She just turned, walked out through the same glass doors, and sat down on the hotel's stone steps, head in her hands, shoulders still, back straight. But inside, the silence was thunderous. Then her phone buzzed. She looked at the screen, then answered. Hello?" Aisha sat still on the hotel steps, phone pressed to her ear like it was holding her together. "Marcus? You there already?" His voice was calm, but something in it tightened like a fist. I am, but they wouldn't let me in. Said I didn't look like their guest. Silence, then low and firm. Wait there. Call ended. Just like that. She lowered the phone. The heat from the stone step under her thighs was nothing compared to the burn behind her chest. Shame, yes. Anger, too. But worse than all that, that old familiar sting of being judged before you even open your mouth. A couple in designer clothes walked past, drinks in hand. The woman glanced at Aisha and muttered, "Figures." The man didn't even look. Inside, the hotel buzzed as usual. The receptionist was now whispering to her coworker, "I told you, they always try to sneak in. No reservation, no car, just walk up like they own the place." Oh, sweet irony, because just then the manager's tablet pinged. "Get ready, you'll have a new owner in 10 minutes. He scoffed, until his phone rang. Board chairman, not a coincidence. Out front, a sleek black electric car pulled up to the curb. The driver stepped out, then the door opened, and Marcus Evans stepped onto the sidewalk like he owned it because, well, he almost did. Calm, focused. Not a man you push twice. He walked straight to Aisha. "You okay?" She nodded, still quiet. But something in her posture shifted, like her spine remembered who she was. Then he turned. Security noticed him now. Doors opened fast. Inside, jaws dropped faster. "That's Marcus Evans." "No way, that's his wife." "They didn't let her in?" The manager came running. "Mr. Evans, I am so sorry. This is..." "Where's your corporate contact?" Marcus asked, dead serious. "We already called." "Too late." And just like that, he pulled out the folder. The contract, the deal, the ink, signed, sealed, done. "You told my wife she didn't meet your standards," he said quietly. "But let me ask, do you have a policy for respect or just appearance?" The manager froze. Staff backed away. Guests whispered. Phones were already recording. Sheesh, he bought the place? Right after they kicked her out? This is wild. Aisha stood tall now, eyes forward. She didn't need to say a word. Her presence said it all. And just like that, the storm had hit. But it wasn't over. Marcus didn't walk. He moved, slow, deliberate, and unbothered, through the hallways of a building that just minutes ago tried to reject his wife like she didn't belong. Behind him, Aisha followed. Her steps weren't loud, but they echoed like a drumline through the now silent lobby. She didn't need to raise her head. She felt the eyes. From staff, from guests, from the same people who just watched her get pushed out like background noise. But now, they watched her like they were waiting for permission to breathe. Marcus stopped just outside the hotel's executive boardroom and turned toward her. "This place belongs to us now," he said calmly. "You ready?" Aisha nodded once. No performance, no hesitation. Just truth. They walked in together. Inside, the energy shifted like someone flipped the current. The room was full. Executives, board members, senior staff. Everybody in suits. Everybody suddenly very awake. Eyes widened. Some sat up straighter. One man fumbled with his notepad. Another looked straight down like the floor had something to say. Marcus stood at the head of the table. No notes, no script. Just presence. "I didn't come here for revenge," he said. "I came here to hold up a mirror." The room was still, dead quiet. "Today," he continued, "your staff didn't just turn away a paying guest. They turned away a woman without asking a name, without looking at her reservation, without speaking to her like a person. They didn't care who she was. Just what they saw." A few board members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. One cleared his throat. Another quietly packed up and walked out. But no one said a word to stop Marcus. "Let me be clear," he said, eyes locked on the room. "This wasn't a mistake. It was policy in motion. That standard of appearance? That wasn't about dress code. It was about who you think deserves to walk through your doors with dignity." He let it hang in the air, a silence that demanded reflection. "This hotel is going to change. Not on paper, say, not in public statements. Actually, every single employee will go through training. We'll bring in leadership that represents more than one kind of voice, and anyone who refuses to treat guests like people first won't be working here." No one dared challenge him. Then Aisha stepped forward. She didn't speak like she was standing in front of a boardroom. She spoke like she was standing in front of history. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not rich. I'm not trying to go viral. I'm just a nurse. I take care of people for a living. That's who I am. And today, I was reminded, no matter how kind you are, how gentle, how respectful, if you don't fit the image they expect, they will treat you like you don't exist. She paused, looked each of them in the eye. But I'm done shrinking. I'm not here to make you comfortable. I'm here to be seen. The room didn't move, because in that moment, there was nowhere to hide. Later that week, her photo spread across the internet, not staged, not retouched, just her, standing beside Marcus, strong, grounded, unapologetically real. People posted comments like, "That's what Grace under pressure looks like." She didn't shout, but she shook the room. This is how you change the system: quiet power and loud truth. And on the wall of the hotel lobby, right where they once denied her, there now hung a new plaque. Simple, clear. "Welcome. We respect every human being who walks through these doors." This story was never about money. It was about something far more valuable: respect. Because respect isn't a luxury, it's a right. And sometimes all it takes to shift the entire system is one person who refuses to shrink, standing beside someone who refuses to let her stand alone.